Hey everybody, welcome back to the LuckyDog podcast. This is your host, Elias. Today we are discussing Devs, the new Hulu miniseries brought to us by Alex Garland. Writer, producer, director, he's brought to us movies such as 28 Days Later. He was the writer for that. He also brought Ex Machina, wrote it, directed. 4 years later, in 2018, Annihilation came out. All technically fantastic movies, and Alex Garland is continuing to blow my mind with all these amazing sci-fi, hi-fi concepts. I'm really enjoying the first two episodes of Devs. Let me kind of go into a little bit more detail. So, before we go into really deep plot stuff, I will kind of give a small spoiler bumper to see if anybody that is interested in the show wants to watch it before wants to listen to this podcast a little bit before they jump into the show. So I'll kind of give you a brief synopsis about what's going on. But it's basically the same engineers and same producers and basically the same team as Annihilation. Annihilation had an amazing look to it. It had the cinematographer Rob Hardy. He is the same cinematographer from Annihilation and Ex Machina, as well as Mission Impossible Fallout. Really love Rob Hardy's visual look and the way he uses camera framing all the way down to color. This show is using all of those on all. They're using color and camera framing to their advantage in every way possible. This is a very unique look. Jake Roberts, he is the editor from The Hitman's Bodyguard, Startup, Hell or High Water, Brooklyn. I don't think he's worked with this team before, but he's still holding up really well, integrating with this Annihilation Alex Garland team. So this is about Devs is a computer. Sorry, the plot of this show is a computer engineer investigates the secretive development division in her company, in which she believes is behind the disappearance of her boyfriend. And so this show stars Sonia Mizuno, who I'm actually not too familiar with, except for the fact that I did see her in Maniac. That was where I recognize her from. And she was also in Ex Machina as Kyoto. So yeah, it's all coming back to me. And she's also in Annihilation. So she's and as well as La La Land. So she's been in some of Alex Garland's most notable pieces. Nick Offerman, I don't think I have to say anything about him. Everybody knows him. Parks and Rec as Mark Swanson. Fargo. He's a classic actor from an ungodly amount of titles, and he always brings the fire. Jin Ha, I'm unfamiliar with this guy. Didn't have too much under his belt. Jesus Christ Superstar, Devs, Hot Air, 20 Years. Haven't seen any of these, unfortunately. I think he actually might be a Broadway guy. Kind of hard to tell. Oh yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar was a live feature. Anything else we need to know about this before we go into the spoiler section? Honestly, this has been an excellent feature to tackle, well, to watch after watching something as crazy as Tiger King. It's definitely the exact opposite of what you're looking for. So if you've just finished Tiger King, you know how crazy that is. We're going to do a season review, wrap up of it. We've already done the first episode. That is a crazy ass documentary series on Netflix. So if Dev's sci-fi mystery thriller is not really sort of your thing, it doesn't, you don't want that. You don't want to. If that's not your thing, then check out Tiger King on Netflix. It's the exact opposite, but you know what? They complement each other so well, because they're so much. They're very rich pieces of media. So let's hop into Devs in spoiler section of the first two episodes. That's all I've watched, and as of now, I expect you to have watched the first two episodes of Devs. So yes, this is a very visually rich looking show. The colors, the technicals, the sound. I love the sound. I love the look. Alex Garland is, you can feel it just oozing with his direction. And so, with it coming down to the intensity of some of the scenes, the slow camera movements, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Um, Zach Grenier is the hitman. Keaton is Kenton. Sorry, Kenton is Forrest, Nick Offerman's hitman, and almost instantly, you get a vibe of like, holy shit, this is some really intense shit, just strictly off of the interview scene with the actor Zach Grenier. I don't really know him as a name brand actor, but we've seen him in tons of things. He was in Fight Club. I think he was the boss in Fight Club that has to watch Ed Norton. Yeah. But yeah, he's also in The Good Wife and Deadwood as well. So we've seen Zach Grenier in some other things that we just, he's normally playing a role, a character actor. What do we have? Allison Pill. This is like her Forrest's second-hand woman, and don't know too much about her. Don't know too much about the actual facility that they're working at, except that what we can gain from what we found in the exposition dumped in the first two episodes is that Forrest lost his daughter at a very young age. There's some sort of technical company that he's running, and it seems that they're trying to predict the future in some way. Sergio, Lily's boyfriend, is trying to get into the mainframe of whatever the main place is where they code, and it's very similar in the ways you think about, the Annihilation plot of the girlfriend going to get the boyfriend out of this crazy place, or something happened to her boyfriend. She has to understand why. So the whole premise of Sergio going to this place to get the code of whatever, what I assume is this technical company is trying to predict human behavior, and Sergio was on his way to becoming one of those coders. And so we find out he was working with the Russians, and given that he's working with the Russians, he's got the James Bond watch, trying to record everything. I honestly thought that was kind of dumb. I was like, how did he not get scanned walking in with that watch like that? I'm sure that's like ultra high security. Anyways, what's his face? Kenton takes Sergio out in episode 1, and from there we find out, Lily Chan is just distraught the majority of. Well, she's not as distraught as I was expecting, but she's, obviously very worried about him in the beginning of episode 2, trying to find out what all happened. By the end of episode 1, she's found her ex-boyfriend. She's located the security tape. She's completely immersed in this. Oh, excuse me. I'm kind of hungry. She's completely immersed in this story. So she's met with the Russian guy. The Russian guy has met with Kenton. Kenton has been following the entire group. He's been following Lily and the Russian guy. I think, what was the Russian guy's name? I don't know. I can't find the Russian guy's name. Anyways, Anton. Sorry. Yeah, he follows Anton in episode 2 and takes him out. And so episode 2 is actually not shown in chronological order, or sequential order, sorry. And we see the death of Anton at the very beginning. We just didn't know exactly what was going on. So we do have some timey-wimey stuff going on with the editing. I think this tech company's trying to predict people's behavior. Sergio was trying to, record this stuff for his intelligence agency. Lily may or may not get Lily may get intertwined with it, but it looks like the Russian guy's taken out. She puts up a sign anyway and says "fuck off." I don't know. I don't know what to think about it at the very end. It's kind of a mismatch of she probably wants to find out who's behind this entire thing, but she's also trying to listen to her friend, Jamie, and I don't know. If she doesn't listen to Jamie, things could go south real quick. So, yeah, this was a very strong first two episodes. Visually gripping, just rich with that direction that Alex Garland sci-fi. It's got some of that visual flair that we have. Sorry, not visual. The audio flair that we hear in Annihilation. Annihilation had one of these soundtracks that was absolutely mesmerizing. I couldn't think of a better soundtrack that year. It just gripped me, and I remember sitting in the theater like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was taking off when things were happening. It was just absolutely insane. So yes, I would recommend Devs if you're into the Alex Garland stylistic sci-fi is what I would probably narrow it down to be. But other than that, predictions, like I said, I obviously think she's going to go pursue the death of her boyfriend, which we see security footage television of him walking around the campus after supposedly he had already been taken out. Either I think it would probably be easiest for them to reanimate a digital version. Like they probably just made that copy, but I don't know what they gave him for a body. So they said that the cops got a body. It's like, did they give them his body after it was burned? Wouldn't they be able to see that he was suffocated other than burned alive? I don't know. The timing in that, I don't know if that's going to work. Nick Offerman, this is completely different from anything he's ever done to my knowledge. He might have been in more dramatic roles than I can remember. Not at this moment that I can remember. But he's channeling some inner dramatic role for him. And I've always thought he had it in him. He's always been this kind of pretty deadpan guy. He's always just ultra serious, but saying some of the most obscure things. Really like his character in this, even though he's kind of penned up to be the bad guy. That's about all I got to say about this first episode. It was pretty excellent. This is impressive for Hulu. I know this is like a crossover Hulu FX mismatch. I don't even understand how it's going on. I know Hulu's like 30% owned by Disney and then like 30% owned by Fox, and so put them together, that's all Disney. So it's like I'm not really sure what this entity or company is anymore, but I'm enjoying what they're putting out. But yeah, thank you for listening, watching LuckyDog Podcast, Devs, Season 1, Episode 1 and 2 review. Check out all the other podcasts in the show notes and the links in the description. That's where I'm going to have all the additional podcasts. At this time, I don't think I'm going to do a episode by episode. I'm going to normally do a opening. We'll do the first or second episode as we did, and then we're going to have a recap at the very end, so we'll have a season finale. I do believe this is a week by week show, so I think it's on like week 5 or something like that, so probably check back in when it's all finished. If you like this sci-fi type stuff, this dramatic mystery thriller sci-fi, I would check out Westworld. It's a little bit more of a bigger feature to tackle, but if you like, this type of analytical predictiveness, high concept thinking, I would definitely check it out. And this like giant ass little girl, is that Forrest's daughter? Or like what is she doing? And she's like got her hands in the air, like, hey, I don't know, but there's like just the visual imagery on this show is capturing enough for me to want to revisit the show. I love seeing this place, the Devs, the gold magnet architecture, the outside of it is just amazing. They have this giant girl in a dress. I'm not sure why she's in a dress, but they have this giant girl and all these young girl imagery all throughout the company. And so it's like, what is going on there? Amaya, which I think that's what her name was. Nick Offerman's daughter's name was. And being around it when they got to that the devs location and they're outside where all the gold bars are like standing up, I just had like 10 out of 10 feelings of annihilation. I'm like, goodness gracious, this guy, Alex Garland's really trying to channel that energy. But yeah, so if you like the sci-fi stuff, I would probably check out Westworld. That's another good alternative if you want to get something, your sci-fi in between. If you want something exactly the opposite, still just as crazy, and it's actually in real life, I'd say this is Stranger Than Fiction. Tiger King. I was absolutely mind blown. Ben's, my buddy, was like, dude, have you seen this shit, man? I was like, nah, man, it kind of looks ridiculous. It looks, just like a guy, crazy country guy trying to tame tigers. It is anything but. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't watched Tiger King, you're going to have your mind blown. The characters in that show could not be written as well as they are. And they're not written; they're real people. So it's amazing. So check Tiger King out if you want to get some whiplash from devs, from your sci-fi timey-wimey thrillerness. Check out Tiger King. It is real life craziness, absolute madness. I'm going to do a full recap on the series coming up, but I do have the first episode already recapped. Check it out. LuckyDog Podcast on SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Discord, paypal.me/the LuckyDog Podcast. For all support, thank you. If you have if you have a small business and you are suffering during the time of COVID-19, please let me know. I'd like to promote some small businesses to help you out get some traffic to your website and to your business. So that's what we can do to give back during these slight tough times. We're going to do it. We can do it together. Just, wash your hands, make sure you're good. Check out devs in the meantime. Check out Tiger King. Those are my recommendations. Could not do this podcast without you all. Thank you, and take it easy.